seems that Homura woman is actually watching them from a little distance, and I guess that's in order to give information to them all about what they're doing. She has some nice legs, I have to give her that. But is this one of the first time we're actually gonna see some, uh, changes in the Sukasa army? After all, the Sukasa army has advantage in numbers and in childish non logics. However, if you can use that, what Senku's Kingdom of Science has advantage of is the fact that they can turn scientific things into changing people's mind. After all, he did that to Ashigiru again. Well, this is the Doctor Stone chapter 51, and I am the Anger and Fan, the Despair reviewer. Either way, the in this chapter, everyone is working together. Therefore, things are going a little bit faster, and that is good because they need to do a lot of steps. As Chrome and the old man Kasagiki still wondered how it would work, uh, Senku begins to mention that how a little bit how this telephone works, like is vibrations in the air. When you pass through vibrations for a diaphragm, it transmits very slight pulses of electricity in time with those vibrations. And just as you expect, since it's very slight, we forcibly amplify it with a vacuum tube this time. And after that, when that electricity flows around the same place, the energy waves that overflow into the surroundings were called electromagnetic waves. In fact, he's explaining a lot on how it amplifies and then forces itself over everything. I mean, yeah, that's a bit very difficult even for me to understand. I have to read the chapter itself in order to try to explain that, but I don't really fully understand it myself. So either way, what are they gonna make first? Well, they're gonna make a cotton candy machine, and then of course, once again, Senku pulls a very strange thing in his mind, which in the end is actually a good reason. So, well, either way, they begin to make a machine that is a rotational, it's what he calls a rotation centrifugal force that causes thin strands of sugar to be forced out through tiny holes in the body. In other words, it's a device for making cotton candy. And then he asks Chrome what happened if they put gold instead. And Chrome has now become advanced to realize that they can make gold wires, which is actually this cotton candy machine is actually for a reason. However, the reason why Senku mentioned the golden, no, a cotton candy is because gold is valuable. We cannot afford to fail. Therefore, they have to test it out with creating cotton candy. He goes back into the village where he finds potato sake and unfinished mirin that took some real damage. It has he put out some what he calls rock candy, and he begins to with after a long while create the cotton candy. So it carries a great smell. He gives it first to the girls, and they of course have a very wonderful reaction to it. After all, this is a Stone Age world where they have never ever eaten candy before. And technically we should actually be happy that they haven't eaten candy, because, yeah, I mean sugar. Sugar is not really that good and it's addictive. But all the different people eat it, and they all have a very different reactions, because after all, this is Stone Age. They all love it very much. So it's during this time that Senku actually asks about who is that Homura. Of course, Ginro just pulls a big moment there. However, we all know that Senku is not really that interested in women because he is a celibate hero. And then suddenly Senku pulls out the fact that he knows that she is surveilling. That's Senku for you. He may not be strong, but he is very smart and even strategic. He knows that she's there. Yeah, and it turns out that she is the only one Hyuga trusts. How it come that he trusts her, I have no idea. She is waiting them to make a big moves, or if they try to make for it, she will follow them. Ginro just wants to escape in his mind, and the Kanro, the former village chief, mentions that soon they're gonna be hunking down for winter. and escaping will be difficult. There are elders who can't endure travel. So Koakuyo says that we will not abandon the elder and run away for all eternity. Our village doesn't have any cowards who think it comes that we should just run away. Which, by the way, Ginro was exactly thinking. So they so Homura is definitely watching because Hyuga gave that order. So she won't do anything bad if they leave her alone, but it will be possible to detect her. So later on, Senkuu walks with two of the other people, and just builds up a machine. No, not a machine, not a stand, a little bit away from her that says "Cotton Candy Senkuu," with a note saying, "No need to worry, it's not poisoned. If it bothers you, you can feed half of it to the animal first." And of course, Homura doesn't believe that, but it turns out that Senkuu has both a trolling and a kind-hearted reason for this. He's saying no one can resist the sweetness, so we can lure out the softer side of her, which again Ashiguro again says is pretty low, but praising. However, Ruri holds the cotton candy and just says that that may be a strategic significance, but apart from that, I think he just wants to share what he has to a girl who's all alone. Uh, uh, so mm, yeah, that's basically it. That Ruri believes that Senku's even Senku's little low actions actually have a pretty sweet moment to it all, and in that way, that is true. Senku may sometimes pull strategic advantages, but he has a very heart of gold beneath his moments. So, so I mean, Homura is. I think even Homura is wondering why is he sharing it on a girl who's all alone, or maybe that was Ruri thinking it. Because after all, Hyuga remember they cannot abandon one guard. It's all too soft. She eats, so she eats a piece of the thing as she looks up in the moon and saying it's sweet. I doubt this will make her pull a heel-face turn, but maybe, just maybe, she will see that the kingdom of science are actually uh, a little bit cooler than she presumed them to be. That's basically this chapter. The things are actually slowing down a little bit in the Doctor Stone chapter, and I don't really like that. However, that doesn't mean that the chapters that we're getting now are bad. Oh no, on the contrary, they are very, very, very awesome. It's just that things are moving a little bit slowly. We still haven't really gotten to the cell phone moments, but they created one device. Things are moving along. Will Homura have a heel face turn? I doubt it, but he managed to pull Ashikiro again over to his side, although technically that guy was scum to begin with. Homura is also scum, but in a different way, I think. But you give me your thoughts if you have any.